Hi guys, so today we are going to be working on this Sonic Stuffy, and it's going to be a pretty long video, but I want it to be very detailed so that you all can know exactly how I made this. So if you want to make this, just keep on watching, and if you want to subscribe for more videos, I will be posting more crochet stuffies soon. Okay guys, we're going to get started with the materials that we're going to need. So we have some you need some blue yarn, and I am using Crafter's Secret. I got this from Hobby Lobby, and you don't necessarily need this particular brand, just any blue yarn that is a medium weight yarn. So blue, red, and then this color is the Red Heart Super Saver buff. So any kind of beige looking color. Then we're going to need a little bit of black and a little bit of white. So red, white, blue, black, and beige are the yarn colors that you're going to need. Okay. You're also going to need some stuffing or polyfill. I use polyfill. I just got it a little bit so you guys can see. So I'm just using some polyfill to stuff the stuffy. And then we're going to need I used a 4.0 millimeter hook to create this. And then you could also need some yarn needles and some scissors and some white felt and some black felt. Now that literally the list that I just gave you is what you need to make the basic stuffy. Like if you don't want it to stand or do anything extra or bend or anything. And of course you'll need some your hot glue gun to glue the felt onto the stuffy for the eyes. And those are like the basic things that you need for the plain stuffy. Now to make the stuffy stand, as you saw in the beginning, you need some kind of scrap cardboard, and you'll see why. Some kind of scrap cardboard, and then some wire. So I have different types of wire, and you can use any of them. In the video, I think I'm going to use one of these, the 16 gauge. Both of these are 16 gauge, but this one definitely probably would have done well. It's a thicker gauge, and it's really soft and easy to bend. So any gauge wire, and this is going to help your stuffy be able to bend and be positionable if you want it to be. And then if you're going to do that as well, you're going to need some electrical tape, and you'll see why when we get to that part of the stuffy. Okay, so that is all of the materials, and if I left anything out, I'm sorry. When we get to that point in the video, I'll let you know if there's anything else that we need. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, to start, we are going to do a magic ring. And then we're going to chain 1. Okay, now we're going to do 5 single crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you want to tighten your ring, and then we're going to slip. Well, we're not going to slip stitch because we're working these in a round without chaining. So you need to get a stitch marker to make sure you keep track of your first stitch. Okay, so for round 2, we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch around. Two. Okay. Round 3, we're going to do the same thing. 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So that's 1. Place the stitch marker back in there. 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. Okay. For round 4, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So that's 1. Place your stitch marker back in. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, and we're repeating that all the way around. So 1 single crochet into the next 3, and then 2 single crochets into the next. Okay, so for round 5, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next. So that's 1. Place the stitch marker back in. 2, 3, 4, and then 2 into the next. 1, 2. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. Okay, so for round 6, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first 5 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next. So that's 1. Place the stitch marker. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 in the next stitch, and you're just going to repeat that all the way around. Round 7, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches, and then 2 in the next. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 in the next, and we're just repeating that all the way around. Okay, for round 8, we're doing 1 single crochet into the first 7 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and then 2 in the next, and we're just going to keep repeating that all the way around. Round 9, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 8 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 2 in the next. Okay, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, round 10, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 9 stitches, and then 2 into the next, and then we're just repeating that around. And don't forget to put your stitch marker back in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 into the next, and just repeat that around. Okay, so for rows 11 to 18, we're just putting 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and that should be 55 stitches. So that's from row 11 to row 18. And I will meet you guys back on row 18. Okay, so this is when I've reached row 18. Okay, so now for row 19, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the next 9 stitches, and then we're going to do a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Forgot to put it back in there. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you decrease. You just single crochet 2 together. So you go up, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3, and that's a decrease, or single crocheting 2 stitches together. So we're just going to repeat that all the way around. 1 single crochet into the next 9 stitches, and then single crochet 2 together, or a decrease. And I'll meet you back at the end of this round. Okay, so for round 20, we're just going to do a decrease as well. It'll be 1 single crochet into the first 8 stitches, and then decrease into the next stitch. So, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and then decrease. Okay, and we're just going to keep doing that all the way around. All right, row 21, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 7, and then a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then decrease. And we're just going to keep repeating that all the way around. Row 22, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6, and then a decrease. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then decrease. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, so row 23, I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the first 5 stitches, and then a decrease. And decrease, and then we're just going to keep repeating that all the way around. Right, row 24, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and then a decrease. Three, 4, and then decrease, and then we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, so for row 25, 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then a decrease. 1, 2, 3, decrease. Okay, so we're going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, so before we move on to the next round, we're going to start stuffing the head. And this is how mine looks so far. So you want to start stuffing it with your polyfill or whatever you're using. Okay, so for the next round, I think we're on round 26. We're going to decrease in each stitch around. So that'll be the first stitch, second stitch, decrease. And make sure you put your stitch marker back in. Okay. So we're going to decrease all the way around. And then we should be left with 10 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, so now row 27, we're going to do the same thing, and we should be left with 5 stitches. So we're going to just decrease in each stitch around. Okay, put stitch marker back in. And if you need to put more in there, more stuffing in, I would suggest doing it now, because we're going to tighten it up at the end. So I think I'm going to put a little more in. Okay, now we're just going to slip stitch to that first beginning stitch just to kind of close it off a little more. And then leave a long tail. Leave a long tail. Okay, so we're going to start his body, or the stomach part, and we're going to start with beige first. So you're going to grab your beige yarn and then make a magic ring, and then chain 1. Inside of the magic ring, we're going to do 5 single crochet. tighten it. And then for round 2, we're going to do 2 single crochet in each stitch around. We are not slip stitching or anything. We're going to continue in the round like we did on the head. Make sure you have your stitch marker. Okay. Round 3, we're doing that again, 2 single crochet into each stitch around. Okay. Round 4, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, round 5, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 3, 4, and then 2 single crochet into the next, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, round 6, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the next. Okay, so I'm on round 6 and I'm at my last stitch where we're going to do 2 single crochets into the stitch. But on the last, so that was 1, so now we need another one. And here, instead of pulling up with the beige yarn, we're going to change colors to blue. And so I insert my hook, yarn over, and pull through so that I'll start my single crochet, but then I will finish it with the blue yarn. I just wrap the yarn on the hook and pull through, and then pull the beige tight, and that will finish off that single crochet. Okay, so for round 7 to 13 with the blue yarn, we are going to be doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and you should have 35 stitches after each round. And while we're moving along here, we want to take both of the blue and beige along so that we don't have to weave those in at the end. So we're gonna do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and make sure you just pull those 2 pieces of yarn tight so that it can stay in place. All right, so continue around with 1 single crochet in each stitch from rounds 7 to 13. Okay, so I have done all the way up until row 13, and this is how it's looking. All right, so row 14, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches and then a decrease. Decrease, and then we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, round 15, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And then a decrease. 3, 4, and then we're going to decrease, and we're repeating that all the way around. 2, 3, 4, decrease. Okay, row 16, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then a decrease. 1, 2, 3, and then decrease. And then we're just going to repeat that all the way around. 2, 3, decrease. Okay, row 17, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then a decrease. And we're just repeating that all the way around. Okay, before we start the next round, you're going to want to start stuffing the stomach. Okay, so for round 18, after stuffing, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So 1 into this stitch, and make sure you put the stitch marker back in. And then we're going to do a decrease. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way around. 1 single crochet into this stitch and then a decrease. Okay, round 19, we're just going to do a decrease in each stitch around. Okay, so make sure you put the stitch marker back in. Decrease. And should end up with 5 stitches at the end. So now we're going to just slip stitch to that first stitch. And then leave a tail. And For this one, we don't have to leave a very long tail. We're just going to cut it off here. And then take your yarn needle and thread your yarn in the needle. And just like I did on the head, I feel like I should have put a little more in there. But just like I did on the head, I'm just going to close it up tight. Okay, so for the arms, we're actually going to start with the hand, and we're going to start with the thumb in particular. So with the white yarn, we're going to do a magic ring and then chain 1 and then 4 single crochet inside of the magic ring. 2, 3, 4, and pull it tight and continue in the round. We're going to do 1 single crochet into this first stitch, make sure you place the stitch marker there, and then we're going to do 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that 1 single crochet in this stitch, and then in that last stitch 2 single crochet. All right, so you have 6 stitches now, and now for rounds 3 to 5, we're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, I am complete with round 5. I have completed round 5. So now we're just going to slip stitch into that first stitch, and then tie it off, and you can leave like a long tail here. You can kind of leave a little long tail here just to sew onto the hand when we get there. So you want to make another one of these thumbs for his second hand. And then I'm just going to stuff the extra yarn on the inside. From the magic ring. Okay, so make another one of these, and then I'll meet you back here for the other parts of the hand. Okay, so once you have both of your thumbs made, we're going to move on to the hand part of Sonic. And so now you just grab your white yarn, and we're going to do a slip knot. And then we are going to chain 7. Okay, so for round 1, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So be skipping that first one and then going to the second chain from the hook and do a single crochet. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 chains. So that's 1, 2, 4, and then in the last chain we're going to do 2 single crochet. 1, 2, and we're going to kind of turn the work around like this, and we're going to work along the bottom of the chain. So we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 5, working along the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is what we should have so far. All right, so for round 2, that's the end of round 1. For round 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, which should be 12 stitches. So that's 1, and then make sure you place your stitch marker in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay, so it should start kind of folding up like this, and that's kind of what we want. Okay. Round 3, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So that's 1. Replace your stitch marker. 2, and then 2 single crochets into the next. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So that's 1 in the next 2, and then 2. Okay, so repeat that around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Okay, so now for rows 4 to 6, we're going to just do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and you should have 16 stitches. 1, 2. Okay, so I'm done with round 6. On to round 7. So I'm actually going to just leave my stitch marker here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. All right, and then we're going to skip the first 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then in that 4th stitch you're going to do a single crochet, and we're just creating a hole here for the thumb. So now we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around all the way back up until you get to the chain 3. Okay, so you should have a total of 13 stitches up until the 3 chains. Alrighty, so now for round 8, we're gonna do 1 single crochet into this first chain. In the next chain, you're gonna do 2 single crochets. And then in the next chain you're going to do 1 single crochet. Then we're going to single crochet into the next 7 stitches. So don't forget about this stitch here. This is actually a stitch coming from here. So in the next 7 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then basically at this corner here we're going to do 2 single crochets into this stitch, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet into the last 5. Okay, for round 9 we are going to do 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then on this round we're going to single crochet 2 together. So we're going to do a decrease here, and we're going to just repeat that all the way around. 1 single crochet in the next stitch and then a decrease. Okay, all right, so now we're going to pause right here, and we're going to add the thumb in that we made earlier. So right here we're just going to attach the thumb in here. Okay, so I just pull it through, and then I'm just going to stuff it down into there to hide the string. Okay, so after we get the thumb on and secure, we are going to actually start stuffing this hand with some polyfill. So put some polyfill in there, and then we'll move on to round 10. Okay, so for rounds 10 and 11, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so for round 12, we are actually going to change change to the burgundy. I'm not burgundy, sorry. The beige yarn, and you do that by putting it before you finish your single crochet. And so for round 12 we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches with the beige. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and clip off my white and then push it to the back so it can just get stuffed in there. Okay, and then in the next stitch you're going to do a decrease, so single crochet in 2 together. Okay, and now we're just going to keep repeating that all the way around. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then single crochet these last 2 stitches together. All right, let me go in here and pull this white a little tighter. There we go. Okay, so for rows 13 to 20, we're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And that should leave you with 10 stitches on each row. 1, okay, so I'll meet you guys back here on row 20. Okay, I have done up until row 20, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the beginning stitch and then tie it off. And then we're going to cut a long tail so that we can sew it onto the body. We're going to get our white yarn and do a slip knot. We're going to do the cuffs for the arm, and you're going to chain 16. Okay, after you chain 16, you want to wrap your chain around and slip stitch to the first chain stitch and make sure it's not twisted. And then we're just going to do a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 2. Okay, so now we're just going to do 1 double crochet into each one of these chains. That's 1, 2, including the one that we did the chain 2 in. The chain 2 does not count as a double crochet. Three, 4. Okay, now you're just going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 2, and then we're going to chain 2, and then for this round we're going to do the same thing, 1 double crochet into each stitch around. You should have 16 at the end. Okay, and then all we're going to do is slip stitch into that chain 2, and then we're going to tighten it and cut off a tail so that we can weave it in. Okay, so now you have your arm and your cuff, and you want to make 2 of these. Now, this is an optional step. I am going to try to make these this Sonic posable, or you'll be able to reposition it. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm honestly not sure if it's actually going to work because this is the first time I'm ever trying it. So we'll see how this goes at the end of it all. Okay, so I am just using my 16 gauge wire that I showed you guys at the beginning, and I'm measuring it. I don't want it to poke through the stuffy, so I measured it, and then I cut it off with a pair of pliers. You can use wire cutters, whatever, but I am cutting 3 strands, and then I'm going to bend it on the ends, and then I'm going to wrap it with the electrical tape. Wrapping it with the electrical tape, just make sure that they all stay together, and also make sure that the ends, like where we bent them, don't poke through the stuffy. So if you have a child who you're making this for, or anybody else who nobody wants to get poked, then it's going to protect the wire from poking the person. Okay, so now I'm just putting that wire in the arm all the way down to the hand where we're kind of already stuffed, and you kind of want to squeeze it in the middle of the polyfill that's already there. And then we're just going to go in and stuff around the wire. You want to make sure the wire does not go through the stuffy, but that is in the middle of the stuffing that you have already put through the hand. So now I'm just testing to make sure that it bends, and then we're going to put the cuff on his arm. Okay, so now we're going to work on the shoes. So you're going to grab your red yarn, and we are doing a magic ring. And then you're going to chain 1. And then you're going to do 6 single crochet inside of the magic ring. Okay. Round 2, we're going to continue in the round, so make sure you have your stitch marker. We're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. Grab my stitch marker. 1, 2, and then in the next stitch you're going to do 2 single crochet. 1, 2, and then you're going to repeat that 1 single crochet in the next 2, and then 2 single crochet into the next. Okay, and we're going to close that tight. Now for round 3, you're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet into the next. And you're going to just repeat that again. 1 single crochet, 2, 3, and then 2 in the last one. Okay, so for round 4, we're doing 1 single crochet into the first 4. 2, 3, 4, and then 2 single crochet to the next, and repeat. Okay, round 5. I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the first 5. And then 2 single crochet into the next. And then you're going to repeat that again. Two single crochet into the last one. Okay, round 6, 1 single crochet into the first 6 stitches. And then 2 into the next stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 into this one, and then you're just gonna repeat it again. Round 7, 1 single crochet into the next 7, and then 2 single crochet in the next, and then repeat. Okay, round 8, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 8, and then an increase, 2 single crochet into the same stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then an increase, and then repeat. Okay, round 9, I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the first 9, and then 2 single crochet in the next, and then repeat. Okay, round 10, I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the next 10 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the next, and then repeat. So for rounds 11 to 14, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. After each round you should have 24 stitches, and I will meet you back after round 14. Okay, so I have done up until round 14. So now for round 15, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn. So from here you can probably take your stitch marker out. Okay, so now we're just going to be going back and forth. So for rows 16 to 20, we're just going to be doing 1 single crochet into the next 16 stitches, and then chain 1 and turn. So we're going to go 16, So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 16. Okay, and then you just chain 1 and turn your work, and then we're going to keep doing that back and forth until you get to row 20, and I will meet you back at row 20. Okay, so I am done with row 20, and this is what we should have. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1, and then I'm going to take my hook out for a second, and you want to flip your work inside out. Okay, and so once your work is flipped inside out, you want to kind of place the back together like this, and then we're going to slip stitch a seam here. So basically I'm going to go in with the back loop only. So in here, back loop on this side, and then on this side. So we're just going to slip stitch that way. If you just want to go through both, you can, but this, I like how this looks a little better. So I'm just slip stitching in each stitch on both sides to close up the back of the shoe. Okay, so I'm just gonna tie it off here and then clip it. And this tail does not have to be very long because it's just going to be sitting on the inside of the shoe. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that through, and then we're going to turn the shoe back to the right side. Okay, all right, so this is what we should have so far. To make this area flat so that it can stand by itself once it's stuffed, I'm going to show you what I do to make it a little more secure and standable. I don't know if that's a real word. Anyway, okay, so I just grabbed some scrap cardboard, and what I do is I place the shoe here and try to make it as flat as possible on there, and then I grab a pencil and then I'm just going to trace around the shoe. It does not have to be anything perfect. Mine is probably going to look crazy, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be on the inside of the shoe. So a rough kind of drawing like that, like, it looks ridiculous, but it doesn't matter. So okay, and after that you can just take some scissors and cut it out. I'm going to use my electronic scissors. Okay, so I'm going to cut around it a little more. Okay, so this probably is not totally right, but we can try to put it in. It doesn't look half bad. So once you get your cardboard cut out, then you can try to put it in, and it seems like it's fitting. Because if it doesn't fit, then you could just go take it back out and cut around it some more, whatever. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to reattach the yarn. So you see where we sewed this shoe together. We're going to reattach the yarn right here. Okay. Now we're just going to go around the top of the shoe, creating 20 single crochet around the edge of the shoe. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and so it looks like I could do maybe 2 more here, whatever. So in that case, just actually, let's see. Yeah, 20. That's fine. Now what we're going to do is slip stitch together. Okay, and then for the next round, we're going to just single crochet to do a bunch of decreases around the entire shoe. We're just going to do a decrease in each stitch, so that's just single crocheting together. So that's 1, 2, and then at the end of this round you should have 10 single crochet. So decrease all the way around. Okay, so this is what it should be looking like so far once we've done the decreases. And from right here, we're going to pause and take your hook out so that we can start stuffing the shoe. Okay, so now we're going to change to blue, and actually we can go back here before we, so let's do this last one again. So do a decrease here, and then before you finish off that, I'm gonna change to blue. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and clip off my red yarn. And So for the next round, I'm gonna start back with round 1 with counting, just so we can keep better track of how many rounds we're doing with the blue. Okay, so for rounds 1 through 15, we are just going to be doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and it should be 10. So we are now moving on to the leg portion of Sonic. So, and we're going to continue to work in the round instead of chaining. So do 1 single crochet and then tighten up here. Okay, and we just keep doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And we can really just stuff this inside because none of that will be seen. Okay. So we're just gonna keep doing 1 single crochet around, and make sure you're placing your stitch marker back in at each round so you can know what round you're on until you get to round 15. And I will meet you guys back here after I'm done with round 15. Okay, so I'm done with round 15, and now we are just going to slip stitch into the first stitch of the round, and then tighten and tie off, and we're going to cut a long tail. We're going to cut a long tail so that we can sew this onto the body. Okay. Okay. And I am making the legs bendable as well. So I'm just going to do the same exact thing that I did with the arms. Okay, so I just sped this part up, but I did the same thing I did with the arms, and I used the 16 gauge wire, and I cut 3 strands at the length of the legs, and then I bent the ends together so that they'll be secure and not be poking anybody, especially if you're going to have kids using this Stuffy. And then after I bend both ends, I just wrap it in that electrical tape. Okay, so after you get your bendable piece ready, you just stuff it down into the leg and make sure that it kind of hits that cardboard that's at the bottom of the leg that we put in earlier. And then I just start stuffing the leg with the polyfill around the wire. And if you need to, you can grab a bamboo stick or skewer to help you get the polyfill or the stuffing down farther in the leg. Okay, so now we're going to make the stripe that goes across the top of the shoe, and simple. So you're going to make a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 15. Okay. 16, I'm sorry. I'm going to chain 16. And then we're going to skip the first 2 chains, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the 3rd chain. And then you're going to do 1 double crochet into each chain across. Right after you get your 14 double crochets, then you're just going to tie off and cut. It does not need to be very long. And at this point, I'll start heating up my hot gun, because we're going to glue this top piece. We're going to glue the top piece onto the top of the shoe. Make sure that you weave in your ends, and then we can hot glue it to the shoe. Here, I really wish that I hot glued it a little further back on the shoe, because I feel like it's a little bit too far in the front, but it doesn't matter. You just want that stripe to match on each foot. But if you're going to do it, I suggest that you kind of put it a little further back than what I did in the video. Okay, so for the sock, we're going to make a slip knot, and then you're going to chain 18. Now we're going to make sure that it stays straight, and we're going to attach it to the first chain and then do a slip knot, so that we're creating a circle. Now you're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do 2 rounds of double crochets. So just do 1 double crochet in each chain around for the first round. So we're just going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 2, and then we're going to chain 2 again, and then we're going to just do 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so now you just slip stitch into the top of that chain 2 and then tie off. The tail does not have to be that long, just enough to weave in the ends. And just slip it around the leg like that, just like we did the arms. And that's it for the leg part. Okay, so now we're going to move on to doing the mouth, and we are just going to make a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 23. Okay, so now we're going to do one single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and then one single crochet in the next 20 stitches. Okay, in this last chain in this row, we're going to do 2 single crochet, and then turning your work, we're going to be working on along this side of the work, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 21 stitches. So working along the other side. Now we're going to continue around and around, and we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to do a half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. Now we're going to do 1 half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches. Okay. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets into this corner stitch. And then you want to do 1 single crochet into the next 7. And then we're going to do 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. Now we're going to do 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 8 stitches. Okay, and now we're just going to slip stitch to the first stitch here and tighten and tie off. And you don't have to leave too long of a tail because we'll be hot gluing this on as well. So for the nose, you're going to grab your black, and then we're going to make a magic ring. And chain 1, and then you're going to make 4 single crochet into the magic ring. And then pull that tight. I know it's going to be kind of hard to see with this black, but I'm going to continue on. So for rows 2 to 3, all we're doing is 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're just going to keep it at 4. And that's basically it for the nose. Okay, so we're going to start with the ear, and to start the ear, we're going to start with beige, and we're going to do a magic ring. And then chain 1, and then you're going to do 7 single crochet inside of the ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, pull that tight, and then instead of working in the round, we are going to chain 1 and then turn our work, because we're going to start working back this way. Now we're going to do 2 single crochet into this first stitch. Then you're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2. And then in the next stitch, you want to do a half double crochet. Then you're going to do a double crochet into that same stitch. And then another half double crochet into that same stitch. Then you're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then in this last stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochet. Okay. Now we're going to basically flatten the edge of this, and we're going to do 4 single crochet along that bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to chain 1 just so I can have some space to put in my single crochets. And then you go along the bottom and put 4 single crochets along the bottom. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this is what we should have so far. Okay, so we're going to tie off this end. Okay. And we're going to weave in the ends of this because we're going to be using this in a second. So go ahead and weave in your ends, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, make sure you make 2 of these. So for the outer ear, we're going to kind of do the same thing. You're going to make a magic ring, and then chain 1, and then inside of the ring we're going to do 7 single crochet. Okay, tighten it. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do 2 single crochet inside of the first. Then we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then in this top stitch we're going to do a half double crochet, a double crochet in that same stitch, and then another half double crochet in that same stitch. Then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then in the last stitch you're going to do 2 single crochet. All right, we're going to chain 1 and then put 4 single crochet along the bottom, putting 1 in this stitch here, and then in the middle put 2 into that center hole from the magic ring, and then in this next space you put 1. Okay, so that's our 4 single crochet lining the bottom of the ear. Now we are going to grab your inner ear part. That should be the exact same as the one we just made with the blue, and then we're going to go and connect these two together. So with inserting into that first stitch, basically they should be exactly the same. So when you go through this stitch, you go through the same stitch on the blue. So we're going to go through this bottom stitch here on the side. Yes. And then we're going to go through the blue, the same stitch on the side, and we're going to put 2 single crochets into that same stitch. Okay, I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4, and then in the top stitch we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to do 1 half double crochet, and you're going to do a double crochet in the same stitch, and then you're going to do another half double crochet in the same stitch. Now we're going to do a single crochet in the next 4, and then in this last corner stitch we're going to do 2 single crochet. Okay, now we're going to do 1 single crochet along the bottom like we did the last time. I mean 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So just make sure you're matching up the stitch that you're in. I think it's this one. This one. Okay, and then we're just going to slip stitch to the first stitch and then tie it off. And that is the ear. And you're gonna cut a long tail so that we can sew this onto the head. Okay, so make sure you make 2 of these for his ears. Okay, so now we're going to start with the spikes on his back. So there are 4 different size spikes that I use. There's a extra small one, a small, a medium, and a large. Those are the different sizes. But in total, we're going to be making 9 spikes in total. So I'll tell you how much of each size you'll need. Okay, so for the extra small spike, you're only going to need 1 of these. So we're going to start all of these with magic rings. And we're going to do 4 single crochet inside of the magic ring. Alright, working in the round, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 single crochet into the next. And then we're going to repeat 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 2 in the next. Row 3 through 4, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 2. And then we're going to do 2 single crochet in the next. And you're going to repeat 1 single crochet in the next 2. And then 2 single crochet into the last one. Okay, round 6, you're going to just do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Round 7, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then an increase. Round 8, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, now we're just going to slip stitch into the first stitch to connect, and then we're going to tie this one off. All right, so this is the extra small one, and you want to leave a long tail on all of these so that we can sew them on. Now we're going to do the small spike. We're going to start with another magic ring and chain 1. You're going to do 4 single crochet inside of the ring. All right, so we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch and then 2 in the next, and repeat that all the way around. Okay, round 3 to 4, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I'll meet you back on round 4. Okay, round 5, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 2, and then an increase. And 2 single crochet into this one, and then repeat. Round 6, we're doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Right, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, round 7, 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then 2 single crochet into the next, and repeat. Okay, round 8, we're doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Round 9, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 4. And then 2 single crochet into the next, and then repeat. Okay, and we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch and then tie it off, and that is the small one. So this one is just a tad bit bigger than the extra small one. Look, you see, and they just get bigger and bigger. Okay, so you're going to make 2 of the small ones, and remember to cut long tails to tie them, to sew them on. Now we're going to move on to a medium spike for the back, and we're just going to start it the same way with a magic ring, and then you're going to chain 1, And then we're going to do 4 single crochet inside of the magic ring. All right, for the second row, we are going to make sure we have our stitch marker, and we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and place your stitch marker in, and then 2 single crochet in the next, and do 1 single crochet in the next, and then 2 in the last one. Okay, ready? So now for the row 3, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so row 3, row 4, we're just doing 1 single crochet into each stitch around for row 4 as well. Okay, so for row 5, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first 2 stitches. So 1, place the stitch marker back in there, 2, and then in the next stitch you're going to do 2 single crochet, and then again we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the last. All right, row 6, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3, and then an increase in the next, and we're going to repeat that around. That's 1, 2, 3, and then an increase, and then repeat that around. Okay, row 7, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 4, and then an increase, and then repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then increase, 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Round 8, we're doing 1 single crochet in the next 5, and then an increase. Okay, so for row 9, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches, and then an increase, and we're going to repeat that around. So I'll meet you back here after this round. Okay, so for row 10, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 7, and then an increase, and then we're just repeating that around. 2, okay, and then for row 11, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. That's 1, 2, and then an increase in the next stitch. So 2 single crochet into this one, and then we're just repeating that all the way around. 1 single crochet into the next 2, and then 2 in the next, and I will meet you guys back here at the end. Okay, and now we're just going to slip stitch to the first stitch, and then tie it off and cut a long tail to sew onto the body. Okay, and so that is the medium size spike, and you're going to make 4 of these. Okay, large, so you're going to do a magic ring again, and then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 4 single crochet into the ring. 2, 3, 4, pull tight. Okay, so the larger ones are actually a bit different, so we're going to now for row 2 just do 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Row 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first stitch, which is here. And then we're going to do 2 in the next. And then you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next. And then 2 in the last one. Okay. Row 4, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Should have 6 stitches. Row 5, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then 2 in the next, and then we're going to just repeat that. Row 6, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then increase. Row 7, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 and then an increase. And then we're just going to repeat that around. 2, 3, 4, and then increase. Row 8, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 5 and then an increase and repeat. For round 9, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 6 and then an increase and then repeat. Just broke my poor little stitch marker. For round 10, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 7 and then an increase and just repeat that around. And I will meet you guys back for round 11. Okay, round 11, we're doing 1 single crochet to the next 8 and then an increase, and then we're just repeating that around. Okay, so for round 12, we're doing 1 single crochet into the next 9 stitches and then an increase, and then just repeating that around. And I will meet you guys at the end of the round. Okay, and then for round 13, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 10 stitches and then increase, and then we're just repeating that around. Okay, so now we're just going to slip stitch into the first stitch and then tie off and cut a tail to sew onto the stuffy. Okay, and so you want to make 2 of these. Okay, so I have completed all of my spikes. This is the extra small one. You only need 1 of those. This is the small ones. It's a little bit bigger than the extra small. Those are the small ones. You need 2 of those. And then these are the medium ones. They're a little bigger than the small ones. And you need 4 of those. And then these are the large ones, and you need 2 of those. And you can see the size differences as I lay them out. Okay, so we have all of our pieces ready to be attached. So I'm just going to start attaching them, and I'm probably going to speed it up because I'm just putting them together. So we're just going to place the head in the center of the body, and you see like where we have the you can see where the color changes here. I normally put that to the bottom just so it's not as visible. So anyway, I'm just going to start putting this together like it should be. So here I'm just putting the head onto the stomach part, and then you want to make sure that this is really secure. So you're going to need to go through it a few times with the needle, and then you're going to want to put the arms, attach the arms to the head and the body. I did not record that part because this video is extremely long. Okay, so I've been trying to make Sonic stand, and you don't have to do this, but just in case you wanted to do it, I wanted to kind of show you guys what I've been doing to help me make it stand. So we put the cardboard in the bottom of the foot. We put the wire in his leg that was wrapped, but that's still not enough. We're gonna need to wrap another piece just like we did before, and then push it through the body part and like let it connect to the piece that was in the leg. So I'm gonna kind of show you guys what I mean. And like I said, if you don't want to make it stand, if that's not like something that you care about, you don't have to do this. I already made a regular one that's just a stuffy. So I just wanted to try something different and bring y'all along to see if it actually worked. So here I'm just wrapping the piece of wire with the electrical tape, and then I'm attaching it to the piece of wire that is already in his leg so that it'll be longer. And then I'm just going to push it up through the body part of Sonic. So when I say you should go out wide with the where you putting the needle, so I'm putting it here, but I'm not just bringing it up right here into the next thing. I'm going out a few stitches and pulling it through. I hope that makes sense. I can show you better on it as I go around. So I'm gonna go here and see that's in between the stitches here and here, and then I go in. So when I get around to the back, I go out even further. So now we're gonna go to the next one, and then we're gonna go out here. Hope you guys can see what I'm saying. You don't want to just sew it right next to where the leg is. So see how far I'm putting my hook outside from the where I'm going to be sewing it in. I'm going to put it out here and then go under and grab. And this is just to make sure that the leg stays in a wide circle, so it doesn't squeeze together like how the arms did at the top. Okay, so I'm just placing the ears where I want them, and then I'm going to attach them onto the head with some stitch markers just to keep the place for where I'm going to sew them on. For the sake of time, because the video is already extremely long, I wanted to show you guys where I put each of the spikes. So from the stomach part to on this back, on the back part, this is the extra small one, and it just goes right in at the bottom of the back in between the legs. And then these two are the small ones. And then on the back of the head part, so this is a medium, this is a medium, this is a medium, and this is a medium. So you got the 4 mediums on the back of his head, 2 at the bottom, and then 2 in the center. And then the large ones go on the side. So that's how I have, that's where I placed all the spikes on his head. Also, you want to make sure that you do stuff them a little bit. Like I have some polyfill kind of to right here, but right here, it's not even going to fit in there. But I kind of bend them a little bit so that they'll, you know, kind of look like his spikes. But that's how I made and where I placed the spikes on his head. Okay, so now I'm going to put his eyes on. I actually cut my eyes out with my Cricut, but you can hand cut them out, and I will try to link the picture so you can have something to go by when you're cutting the eyes. But anyway, you want to hot glue them on. Make sure that they're centered and make sure that the edges are glued down as well. Okay, so here I'm just attaching the nose to the mouth part, the beige mouth part, and I am just going to weave it in. And I'm gonna tie it in the back probably twice, and then I'm just gonna weave it in around the edges of the nose so that it doesn't move around too much. And then I just tie it again for security and clip it off, and you can leave a piece in the back because it won't be seen anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to make the mouth, and all I do is cut a string and then weave it in, and then you want to weave it in from the back so that the tail can be in the back once it gets glued, and then you position it where you want, kind of a sideways smile, and then I'll take that piece off and cut a different string to make the top line. I like the top line, it makes it look more legit than just a little sideways smile. So you do the same thing, use the extra yarn and weave it through, and then place it where you want it, and then you tie it off in the back, and you can cut and leave a little piece in the back because that won't be seen anyway. Okay, so now we're just going to glue this onto Sonic, and you want to make sure that it's kind of right up at the white part of his eyes. You don't want to see any of the blue too much, and just make sure you hot glue all the edges together. And now we have one more thing to do before we're done. Grab the blue yarn and I'm gonna chain 20, so not 20, I'm sorry, I'm gonna chain 40, and that normally gets me around his eyes, so we'll see. So I'm gonna chain 40. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tie off or anything. I'm going to test to make sure that this is not too long or too short. So basically we're going to be putting it around his eye. So just outlining the edge of his eye, and okay, so this is too long. So what I'm going to do is from here, you get where you need to go down to, and then just loosen it. I just always normally start with 40, and then I can get from there. So you want to make sure you're kind of pulling it a little bit to go around his eye, because you're going to hot glue this on as well. Yep. Okay, so just chain 40 and then measure where your eye stops, and then take out or add on whatever you need, and then we're just going to hot glue it around his eyes, and that's it. So I just weave in that tail that's on that chain stitch, and then I pull it through the bottom of his face, and you can start hot gluing it on. And then when you get to the other side, you just do the same thing, push it through his face, because it's just going to be inside with the stuffing, and just hot glue around the edge, and just make sure you get it right on the top of that white with no glue showing. You can cut off the extra glue if it gets stuck to the stuffy. Okay, that's it, guys. And if you made it this far, I'm very proud of you, because this is a very detailed project. But please like and subscribe, leave your comments and questions down below, and I thank you guys for watching.